superstar, and Jose Vidro plays the game right. He can beat you with his bat as he did the Mets down in San Juan, his native Puerto Rico, and he can beat you with his glove. He's a switch hitter with power. He's a 300 lifetime hitter, and he's got a lot of range, good hands, and a very strong arm. Jose Vidro is the essence of what this Montreal EXPOS team is right now. He's been banged up all year long, and he's still hitting .327.
Well, Randy Wolf, the pitcher for the Phillies, the only All-Star on the roster right now for Larry Bowa and Philadelphia. And Jim Thome is not there, despite the big season he's had, his first year in Philly. It's the Expos, it's the Phils, when we return to Quebec, Canada, right after this.
You have like every card.
Yeah, it is pretty dominant.
Dude, here comes O'Callahan.
No problem.
Clear the screen.
I am trying.
You clowns been on that E-top site again?
No.
Yes.
Sometimes when the little guy doesn't know he's a little guy, he can do great big things.
Seabiscuit, rated PG-13.
Welcome back, everyone. Olympic Stadium in Montreal, Quebec. Phils and Expos Monday Night Baseball here on ESPN. Dave Ryan, Buck Martinez, our entire crew north of the border. The Phils have lost 3 in a row and 5 of 6. Polanco, Rollins, Thome, the top 3 for Larry Bowa. But he told us before the game his team has got to get better hitting from 6, 7, 8 spots and a better effort from Abreu.
Well, Bobby Abreu has actually worn out the Montreal Expos this year. He's at .389 against Montreal, and the big thing about this lineup is they have a lot of strikeouts in the lineup. That's what you get. They don't have a whole lot of speed outside of Jimmy Rollins in the 2 spot. But Larry Bowa knows that if they're going to be productive, they've got to get some more help down in the order. Pat Burrell has had a difficult season, and they need some more production from Burrell to complement Bobby Abreu. There are the numbers we had mentioned about Bobby Abreu. That's John Vukovic, the third base coach. Brad Mills for the Expos. He's the bench coach going over the ground rules here at Olympic Stadium. Bill Wilkie, the home plate umpire, getting the rules firsthand. Every time you come into this stadium as an opposing team, you have to remind yourself of the ground rules, where the ball hits and the speakers, which speakers are in fair territory, which ones are in foul. There you see the rest of the umpiring crew. Wally Bell at second base tonight is the crew chief.
Larry Bowa's key words to us before the game tonight. We talked about 6, 7, 8 spots needing to hit. He's very happy with his pitching to this point. He likes the way that the starters have carried the team in that 6-week or so stretch where they were red hot. Now, as we mentioned, they've lost 5 of 6, and he needs the sticks to really pick things up, especially that from left fielder Pat Burrell. And as we see the standings to begin play tonight, Phil's 7.5 out, Expos 9 games back. To be 6 games over 500 with all they've overcome, Buck, is incredible.
Yeah, it sure is. They've lost some key players, including Tony Armas Jr. and Zach Day, who was off to a great start this year. They also have their all-star right fielder, Vladimir Guerrero, out of the lineup. They don't know when they're going to get him back. And Fernando Tatis is also DL. They've had 7 key injuries to important players, and they haven't had anybody return yet. It's remarkable what Frank Robinson has been able to do.
They are hoping they can get Vladimir Guerrero back in their lineup somewhere around August 1st. He's just started in Florida at his rehab center with Nick Bonacani down there to lightly swing the bat and whack a couple balls off the tee. For Guerrero, 8 homers and 33 knocked in, but he's been on the DL for almost a month now as the Expos take the field here in Montreal. And if they can get him back at the start of August, think, Buck, what potential this team has for a wild card berth in the National League.
Well, they should do. They certainly have enough weapons if they get everybody healthy. Livan Hernandez coming off a good start against the Mets last time out. This will be his 18th start. He was acquired by Montreal right at the end of spring training in a trade with San Francisco. You can see that he always gives up hits. He throws a lot of strikes, doesn't walk many guys, and he's always around the plate. So he's always going to have a lot of base runners to deal with. Fastball, curveball, slider, and an occasional changeup. but he's most comfortable working on the first base side of home plate. Breaking balls down and in the left. He's down and away to right-handers, and he'll throw that breaking ball anytime. It doesn't make any difference what count he's in. He's got confidence that he can always get his curveball over.
Macias, Wilkerson, and Callaway around the outfield. Brad Wilkerson has seen time, a couple outfield positions and first base as well. And we highlight him tonight. Guzman, Cabrera, Vidro, the All-Star, Will Cordero at first, Schneider, and Livan Hernandez, the battery tonight for Montreal.
Brad Wilkerson has 7 assists in the outfield, and he's moved from left to center. Of course, their big right fielder, Vladdy Guerrero, can do so many things to help you win a game, but he's got a herniated disc. He is in Florida, as Dave mentioned, trying to get healthy before he can even consider any baseball activities, but Wilkerson has done a nice job for this ball club.
They're doing all they can, the Expos, to avoid surgery with Vlad Guerrero. And Frank Robinson, of course, would love to have him back in the lineup as soon as possible. But in the meantime, second year in the dugout, the skipper in Montreal. He's taking over for Jeff Torborg. Larry Boa for the Phils again, told us before the game. Always takes a little adjustment period despite all the games they've played here in Montreal at Olympic Stadium. Just the atmosphere can take maybe a few innings for the players. Turf, he says, is not exactly reliable. A couple of bad bounces here and there. He's experienced. As Polanco, the second baseman, will lead it off for the Phils tonight against Hernandez. We are underway. Fastball in there.
Polanco has done a good job for Larry Boa in the leadoff spot. They don't have a prototypical leadoff hitter, a guy that you think about getting on base and stealing bases, but Polanco's done a good job filling in.
Strike 2.
This is only the 16th game in which Boa has had Polanco in the leadoff spot. Jimmy Rollins was there for the majority of the season, and Boa is more comfortable with this 1-2 combination the way it is.
0-2 hole for Polanco off the outside corner, says Bill Wilkie, the home plate umpire tonight. Rollins on deck, their speedy shortstop. And we certainly would love to see his numbers pick up from where he is at 260 now. Strike 3 call. Polanco down, looking to begin the game. And a great start for Hernandez.
Livan Hernandez has a unique feel for pitching. When you think he's going to throw a breaking ball, he'll cross you up and throw a fastball. Here he paints the outside corner with a good fastball and freezes Polanco. Talking to Brian Snyder, his catcher, before the game, and said now we're starting to get a little more comfortable as Snyder has a few more games under his belt handling Hernandez.
See the career numbers against the Phils. Rollins first ball hitting left field and well hit. Macias back. It is gone. Opposite field home run. Jimmy Rollins cracks that over the wall in left, and the Phils draw first blood tonight at the Big O. It's 1-0 Philadelphia, his 5th of the year.
You don't rely on Jimmy Rollins for power, but when he gets a fastball up and out over the plate, he can drive it just over the wall in left field. Jose Macias frustrated as he watched the ball sail out of the park.
Now it's Jim Thome. We are here in Montreal. Jim Thome, the star first baseman for the Phils, with 1 down in the top of the first. Hitting here against Livan Hernandez, who moments ago surrendered a solo homer to left by Jimmy Rollins. The Phils shortstop belting his 5th homer of the year. Belted toward first. Cordero fumbles it at first, and then has time to flip to Hernandez for the second out of the Phils' first inning.
Something about Livan Hernandez settling into the flow of the game. He's had some trouble in the first inning this year, and it's not that unusual for starters to come out and have an adjustment period. He's allowed runs in the first inning in 14 of his 18 starts. This time it was Jimmy Rollins who took him deep to get the Phillies out in front. But pitchers oftentimes have to get a feel for the game mound and try to control their emotions and get into the rhythm of the ball game.
2 down for Abreu in the Phils' first. 275 hitter, 49 RBIs coming into this one tonight. Against Montreal this year, lighting it up, 389. He's 7 of 18. Takes a strike.
Larry Boa tried Bobby Abreu in the leadoff spot. Abreu didn't feel comfortable, so he dropped him down into the cleanup spot, hitting behind Tomey. Their initial plans, Dave, was to have Pat Burrell hit up in this part of the order and have Burrell separate Tomey and Abreu. But then Burrell got up to such a tough start that they had to scrap those plans, at least for the time being.
Absolute nightmare of a season it's been for Pat Burrell, who's now down hitting after Lieberthal, and before Bell, who also has trouble. Foul, and that'll reach the seats about 5 rows up. They've done everything possible to get Pat Burrell on track. Sports psychologists changing his stance, dropping him the order, giving him the day off here or there. You see Abreu's numbers against Hernandez, but really nothing has worked for Burrell so far. Larry Bowen knows it's got to happen in the second half if his team has got a legit shot at a playoff spot. Breaking ball high.
That's a breaking ball. Hernandez tried to drop on the outside corner. So I mentioned he's more comfortable throwing that ball down and into left-handers, trying to get them to swing over the top of it.
Count level to Abreu. 2 down in the first. Pull the string on him. Down he goes. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Livan Hernandez. However, Jimmy Rollins, the Phillies shortstop, takes him deep. 5th of the year, an opposite field shot. And that's why the Phillies have a 1-0 lead. Montreal hits when we return to Quebec.
Big borrowing deal is back, and this season, it's serious.
We play a WNBA player, kicking an arena field goal. The tasks are really hard.
Survival skills tested in the world of sports. Big borrowing deal 2 begins Tuesday at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
The Century 21 Home Run Derby, Monday, July 14th on ESPN.
America's first network for men. It's America's first network for men.
America's first network for men.
America's first network for men.
I love Stripperella.
I am Stripperella.
Dred and Stimpy.
Gary the Rat.
Stripperella.
Every Thursday night starting at 10.
I like Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
She takes a hard one. Ouch! America's first network for men.
Heading into this game tonight against Montreal, Jimmy Rollins, the Phillies shortstop, had only been hitting 167 against Montreal this year, 4 of 24, but a dramatic change tonight with a home run to left field in the first. The Expos lineup, Macias in left field, followed by Guzman, Cabrera, the all-star second baseman Jose Vidro. Talked about Wilkerson in center field. Cabrera, possible, Buck, that he could get one of those wild card spots in the National League All-Star roster.
Yeah, he still has some hopes that he'll be voted onto that All-Star team, and he's really picked up the slack since Vladimir Guerrero's been out. He is the RBI guy in this lineup now that they don't have their All-Star right fielder. Brandon Duckworth coming off a great start against Chicago. He pitched 6 very good innings against the Cubs in that 1-0 loss. Sosa homered in the 9th inning off Turk Wendell, the only run of the ball game. But he used his fastball very effectively. He got his curveball over when he was behind, and he changed speeds and shut down a pretty good hitting Cubs ball club. He struck out Sammy Sosa twice early in the game with curveballs, and finally Sosa touched up Wendell for that home run.
Strike call to Macias, the left fielder, leading things off. And the home first for the Expos against Duckworth, a 27-year-old from Salt Lake City, Utah. Right-hander Larry Boas says he hopes as it's fouled off by Macias, and that's off the wall there up high, and that is in play. It's way up in the top of the oval area, what really amounts to the difference between the roof, that Kevlar roof they've got here, and what used to be the old top of the stadium.
Yeah, and Bill Wilkie now, Maniac, the third base coach, came down to tell Frank Robinson, hey, wait a minute, that thing hit the ring above the stadium. And now Wally Bell, the crew chief's going to come in, and this is what the umpires are given the mandate of. let's get it right. No matter how many heads it takes, we're going to get it right. Now that's Wally Bell talking to Frank Robinson here. And wouldn't you know it, first inning, they have a ground rule talking about hitting that ring around the stadium. So there you see it hit the concrete ring right here. That's where the ball made contact above the Expos dugout. Now, Wally Bell is having the rule explained to him, and now they're trying to sort it out.
Buck, the official rule on that here at the Big O, if a batted ball strikes the speakers over foul territory, it cannot be caught. But if it hits the roof over foul territory, it can be caught by a fielder, and the batter is out.
Well, and that's where it really becomes difficult because it's so high, and it's actually over the seats. Now look at Tomey. He's not really sure what to do here, and then the ball drifts toward the seats, but hits the top of the concrete ring around the stadium and comes back into play.
Did not hit one of the speakers there. It actually hit above the lights you see in that shot.
On this concrete right up in there.
Right on the concrete, and Tomey very correctly just played it, hoping that it in fact would be a legal out. Macias pops out.
Well, that's what you tell your players. You just play at everything, and we'll let the umpires sort it out.
Third baseman Edwards Guzman is next. With one down, he taps it foul. Interesting to see the Expos dispute the ground rules here at Olympic Stadium. They're used to all the crazy bounces here. And Guzman quickly in the 0-2 hole. Came over on that trade involving Hernandez during spring training for the Giants. One-two pitch. Way inside. Have to give incredible credit to Frank Robinson and the Expos for overcoming, as we talked about, the obstacles. That's called a foul ball, not in play, by the home plate umpire Bill Wilkie. Young players. First the injuries, then the 16 games they played in Puerto Rico. Then, oh, by the way, the ownership issue. We're not sure who eventually will end up with the Expos. If maybe it'll be status quo next year. They'll stay, play some games in Puerto Rico, maybe all the games in Puerto Rico. Maybe they'll be in Portland, Oregon, or Virginia. Breaking ball, called strike three. Down goes Guzman, 2 down in the first. Still an amazing story that they've been able to overcome so much. The defense behind Duckworth tonight. Bird and Abreu in the outfield. Bell, Rollins, Polanco, Jim Tomey. The first baseman, David Bell, really got to get it going with the stick. But
well, David Bell has played phenomenal defense. He turned a double play on Friday night against Florida that not many of the coaches in Philadelphia had seen. He really did a great job on a Pudge Rodriguez hot shot down to third. So he has not carried his batting woes out to the field with him. He's separated the two, and you can see the Phillies have played very well in the field, committing just 38 errors this year.
Cabrera with 48 RBIs amongst the starters has the top ribby output for these Expos. Without Guerrero, so much of their offensive leadership from years past. Vlad was over 110 RBIs last year in a full season. 2-1 pitch to him. Pulls the string on the change. It's levels at 2-2. 32nd man. We talked about the internet voting going on that wild card spot. These are the candidates in the National League.
Orlando Cabrera certainly deserves consideration with the rest of these potential all-stars because of how he's had to take the responsibility in the middle of this order.
Just off the outside corner of the payoff pitch. Cabrera is aboard, and again the list of the potential 32nd man in the National League. Corey Patterson of the Cubs has had a big year, and behind the plate again, Benny Santiago of the Giants has been outstanding.
Well, he sure has. He's certainly rejuvenated his career. Corey Patterson's having a great first big season his second year in Chicago, but it'll be difficult to separate these 5 players because they all are deserving. And you know what, when you pick an all-star team, there's going to be deserving candidates all over that are left out because of the way the team has to be put together.
Where's your vote going, Buck? If you had one.
Right there, I'd probably pick Benny Santiago for what he has done with the Giants.
Vidro up the middle, but Rollins hasn't played quite nicely and will throw to Tome in plenty of time. Expos down despite the Cabrera walk. He hopes to be in the National League All-Star game next week in Chicago.
This Wednesday, get ready for the summer's best movie. It's the must-see movie of the year. Pirates of the Caribbean, rated PG-13, starts Wednesday.
Livan Hernandez set to go. Second inning against the Phillies. Thanks to Jimmy Rollins' 5th homer of the year. Philadelphia the 1-0 lead. Here's Lieberthal, the catcher. Check swing toward first. Cordero will flip to Hernandez in plenty of time. 1 down. Jose Vidro, the all-star second baseman of Montreal, talks about his selection. 3rd time he's made it. All 3 times a different way to get there.
Personally, I think I'm very happy. Family are excited as I am. It's quite an honor because the 3rd time, 3 different stories. My first time was chosen by Bobby Cox, the manager. Last year I was chosen by the fans. This year I've been voted by the players, so that means a lot to me.
A starter last year, a reserve in 2000. Jose 0 for 3 as an all-star. Would like to change that in Chicago on Tuesday.
I think it's always special when you're recognized by your peers to all-star status, and that's why he feels honored this year that he was selected by the managers, coaches, and players in the National League.
Burrell ripped down the left field line, and that's the year Pat Burrell has had. Goes foul by a few feet. An absolute struggle, nightmarishly so, from really the very beginning of the year. And Larry Boa told us before the game tonight, Buck, that although Burrell has kept that stiff upper lip and tried to remain positive, he thinks a young player like that eventually it's just got to wear on you. The struggles. 0-2 pitch, 1 down.
Well, Pat Burrell certainly has done everything trying to work his way out of this thing, and I think more than anything, he has expanded his strike zone to a point where now he's trying to hit too many pitches.
Down he goes. That Larry Boa's point to us today before the game about Pat Burrell, that really he is taking strikes and swinging at balls and really hitting pitchers. Pitch is a great example there.
Well, having been an expert on slumps, I can comment on that personally, because you do try to do everything, and you think that if you let one pitch go by, it's going to be the last good one that you've seen. Then you have a tendency to second guess your own ability, and I tell you what, it's a mind game. And you know what, there was so much talk about Jim Wolford's comment, half this game is 90% mental and all that, and it's true. I tell you what, you get into a situation where you're starting to doubt your ability. Pat Burrell was a young player, just in his 4th full year. And
top draft pick overall out of Miami a few years ago.
He'll get it straightened out. One thing about it, he's not shying away from it. He continues to work hard, and you know what? When you're going through something like this, you get advice from everywhere.
Suddenly everyone is an expert. Kind of like being on the golf course when you're struggling and someone says, you know what? You're picking up your head. You're swinging out of your shoes. You're too close to the ball. Sometimes that can be overwhelming in itself.
Well, you got to get back to the old KISS method. Keep it simple. Don't try to overload your mind.
0-2 to Bell, the Phil's 3rd baseman. Talked about the great defensive numbers, struggling with a bat, and that will continue. Cabrera takes care of him, scored 6-3. Down go the Phil's. Still they enjoy a 1-0 lead on ESPN's Monday Night Baseball.
This Friday, discover the summer's most original action adventure as 5 legends come to life.
The league is set and the game is on.
Sean Connery, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, rated PG-13, Friday.
The native of Villa Clara, Cuba. Livan Hernandez down 1-0 early to the Phillies here. 2-3 at home this year is Hernandez, the ex-Marlin and Giant. 34 1/3 coming into tonight's action with Philadelphia. Wilkerson, the center fielder. Ritz, left field. Bird, as Burrell drifts over and Pat takes care of it for the first out of the second. Tomorrow afternoon, Major League Baseball season continuing as the Giants and Cardinals wrap up their quick two-game series on ESPN's day game. Barry Bonds and the Giants host Albert Pujols, Jim Edmonds, and the Cards. Pujols, the overall All-Star vote leader. Wow. With a late rush. He was shocked, he said, after being in 4th place among NL outfielders and surpassing Sammy Sosa, who's not going to play in the Midsummer Classic this year. Pujols with the big numbers for the Cards. MVP-esque.
Well, he's got a chance for the Triple Crown the way he's swinging the bat. 26 homers, 80 RBIs, hitting .374 before the break.
Cordero is next. Next, that 91-mile-an-hour heater from Duckworth. Pitched college baseball at Cal State Fullerton. We just saw George Horton of the Titans at the College World Series this year. They made the semifinals, if you will, of Omaha before bowing out to Stanford.
Now, Duckworth had the best spring of any Phillies starter, but then the season came on. He started out the season on the disabled list. That's why his starts are down. He had tough luck. 2 starts ago, he went out against the Baltimore Orioles, got hit with a line drive in the first inning and had to leave the game. Not only was it tough for Duckworth, but it was tough for Larry Bowa and Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach, because the Phillies went 17 innings. So they really had to get deep into their bullpen.
Last 6 starts, the ERA at just under 3.5.
Now, Larry Bowa has the best starting pitching in the division in my mind, and they also have a very deep bullpen. And just a matter of how much they're going to hit. Will they score enough runs?
Hit hard by Cordero to third, and David Bell takes care of the Expos first baseman. 2 down in the second.
It's so easy to carry your batting woes to the field with you, but David Bell, who was signed as a free agent to shore up this Phillies infield, has separated the two, and even though he's hitting right over 200, he has played very well defensively at third.
Ron Callaway, right fielder for Montreal. 1 for 4, a run scored yesterday in that loss to Atlanta. Expos dropped the last 3 games of that series. The Phils swept by Florida. First time in Marlins history in their franchise. They came away with a 3-game sweep of Philadelphia. So they've cooled down, how the Phils considerably. Check swing foul off the bat of Callaway.
Well, the thing that both of these clubs have to remember is we've not hit the All-Star break yet. There's plenty of games to be played, and you just have to keep plugging away. Kevin Millwood had a great first half. Brett Myers there, the starter, young starter, will go tomorrow, and they are really deep from the mound. Good change up there from Duckworth.
Count a ball, 2 strikes to Ron Callaway. The National League East, Phils and Expos chasing Atlanta as Philadelphia starts tonight 7.5 games back. Braves got 2 home runs yesterday from Chipper Jones, and a nice outing from Mike Hampton, including a home run by the pitcher. That always helps.
2 hits and a home run.
Yeah.
But the Phillies have already played 12 games against Atlanta. They own a 7-5 edge.
Breaking ball inside to Callaway. It was Chipper's first 2 home run game of the year, 27th of his outstanding career. Chipper Jones had been in a 14 for 58 slump until yesterday, where he bust out, and well, if you saw the highlights, he hit some deep home runs, both of them. Polanco to his left. Good range at second base. Down goes Callaway, and down go the Expos in the home second. They trail 1-0 to Duckworth and the Phils. Marlon Burr, the center fielder of the Phils, Duckworth and Polanco to the top of the order They'll hit here for Philadelphia in the visiting third. Up 1-0 thanks to Rollins' 5th homer of the year. Solo shot in the first. Toward short. Cabrera on the move. Score it 6-3. Silky smooth Orlando Cabrera at shortstop.
Hernandez got Bird to hit that curveball right off the end of the bat, and it'll slow roll to the shortstop. And we mentioned that he'll throw his curveball anytime. He has the ability to get it over. He's tremendously confident in that curveball. You could see it was down and away to Bird, and there's Cabrera with an easy play. One hands it, transfers the ball, makes a running throw right on the money.
Pitcher to pitcher here as Duckworth will hit. And the visiting third for the Phillies. Last start. See Cabrera so solid at shortstop. Last start for Hernandez. As Buck mentioned, against the Mets, successful. Speaking of success, it's the pitcher, Brandon Duckworth, with a base hit up the middle here in the third with one down. Let's go back to the studio now. Dave Reps.
Dave, thanks. The Mets looking for their first 4-game winning streak of the year, and Chipper Jones not cooperating. First inning, a 3-run shot, number 16 on the year for him. It is 3-0 in favor of the Braves. Dave.
All right, Dave. 3-game win streak for Atlanta coming in. Chipper now with 3 homers in the last 2 games, and that's early against the Mets tonight. As New York tries to get out of the cellar in the National League East. It will not be easy, with Florida playing pretty well. They were able to have a lot of success against these Phils this weekend. Polanco, top of the order. Struck out looking in the first. He's 0 for 1. Duckworth singled, the second hit of the game for the Phils. Rocket up the middle, make it 3. Back-to-back singles. Duckworth and Polanco, and the Phils have something going here in the visiting third with 1 down. Jimmy Rollins returns to the plate for the Phils. The last time up went the opposite way for his 5th of the year, Buck.
High fastball, first pitch from Livan Hernandez, and Hernandez had given up a run in 14 of his last 18 starts in the first inning, and he continued that trend here tonight. But Rollins, with his 5th home run of the season, put Philadelphia on the board early.
2 on, 1 down, 3rd inning for the Phils. Rollins at Olympic Stadium coming in. A .247 career hitter and 77 at bats. That homer we just saw was his 3rd in his career here at the Big O. He's now got a total of 6 RBIs in Quebec. To his credit, inside corner.
A little contrast in this at bat. After the fastball away, Livan Hernandez comes inside and pushes Rollins back. Watch how Snyder does a good job of receiving that ball to give Bill Wilkie, the home plate umpire, a good look, and Jimmy Rollins didn't think it was such a hot pitch.
Now tries to work the outside part of the plate and misses wide. It's 2-1.
Now here's where Hernandez will throw that big curveball. He's got the count in the hitter's favor. He's pitching from behind, but he can throw that curveball and get it over.
2-1 to Rollins. Well hit. Right center field, and Wilkerson has a beat on it. Duckworth tagging for a moment, but he'll scamper back to second base. 2 down in the 3rd.
Hernandez got him with a changeup that time, had him out in front, and Jimmy Rollins hit it harmlessly to center. But now you got your hands full.
Tomei hit a ball hard to first base in Cordero, who bobbled it, but had so much time since the ball was hit extremely hard to toss out to Hernandez, covering in plenty of time. Torrid pace for Tomei. Hit his 22nd homer of the year in that loss to the Marlins yesterday. Big cut. 2-run shot to right field. That, at the time yesterday, cut the Marlins 3-0 lead to 3-2.
You can see Tomei was frustrated. That was a pitch he felt he should have hit. right up high out over the plate, and that's what you try to do. You try to get Thome to go up the ladder. Chase that ball upstairs.
Another big rip, and he fouls it back. Well, it's the summertime. Might want to venture from the Philly area up here. Easy drive up the Northway. Albany and straight up. Canadian border. Why not? They must have made the trip. There can't be any Montreal natives who are Philly fans or Jim Thome fans. I don't think so.
Nah, there's a lot of Philly fans that travel around.
That's right. 0-2 pitch to Thome. Breaking ball. Just missed.
Jim Thome has the idea that you've got to hit breaking balls if you're going to be a big-time hitter, and he takes care of the outer 3/4 of the plate very effectively. He's got a good look at that one and felt it was off the plate the entire way. Brian Snyder, the catcher, liked it because if you miss in that situation, you got to miss down, and you might get Thome to chase a ball down around the dirt.
Duckworth and Polanco aboard. Gas is high and outside to Jim Thome.
Now here's where you got to make a decision if you're Hernandez. Do you go with a breaking ball or you try to elevate the fastball? I believe you try to elevate the fastball, throw it up above the Phillies, and see if you can get Thome to chase. Hernandez hasn't seen one he likes yet. Now they'll regroup. Snyder says, I don't know what you're thinking about. How about that one? He likes it.
On the same page, 2-2 pitch, high and outside. The count runs full with Duckworth at second base. Polanco at first, 2 down in the third, and the Phils already with a 1-0 lead.
Trying to go back door with that breaking ball, and it was well off the plate. And Snyder tried to sell it to Bill Wilkie, but it was just too far outside.
So far behind the bag, Duckworth is on the lead. Then he sort of takes a few steps forward to get in that running position. That's uncommon. Foul back by Thome. We'll do it again at 3-2.
And now Snyder's going to go out and talk about this next pitch. Thome had a pretty good cut at that high fastball. And you can see he's asking the umpire, is that ball up or am I just missing it? And the umpire has to tell you, well, that's top of the strike zone, Jim. Well, then I'm just missing it.
He connects plenty of times, though, Buck. We know that. Already he's gone deep 22 times this year. Hit 49 for Cleveland last year. Inside corner, called strike 3. Down goes Jim Thome. On the payoff hit from Livan Hernandez. He'll strand 2 Phillies and stay behind a 1-0. Breaking ball caught the inside corner, says Bill Wilkie. ESPN's Monday Night Baseball continuing from Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Jimmy Rollins a solo homer to left in the first, means the Phils have a 1-0 lead. Schneider lead things off, the catcher for the Expos. First plate appearance tonight, home 3rd inning.
Boy, that swing was kind of an afterthought. And he saw that big breaking curveball and then said, I better get after that one. Watch how late he swings at this. There's the stride, keeps his hands back and fights off that curveball. Not a good pitch, not a good pitch. Oh, yeah, it is a good pitch.
Little hitch in the swing there. Better late than never for Schneider. It's 0-2. High and away waste pitch from Brandon Duckworth. Schneider has been hot in the last 9 games, hitting almost 300, 296, 8 for his last 27. 3 2-base hits and 3 knocked home in that span.
Ooh, that's a pretty good pitch right there, inside part of the plate. Duckworth thought he had the movement to take it back over that inside corner.
Last start for Brandon Duckworth, July 2nd. And the team's 1-0 loss to the Cubs. He was not involved in the decision. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, couple walks, 6 strikeouts. And you see those are the numbers for the breakdown. He had 7 ground balls, 5 fly ball outs. As Snyder goes down, pulled a string, did Brandon Duckworth. Faced 22 hitters and had 87 pitches, did Duckworth in that last start against the Cubs. dedicated fans. There aren't many tonight here, Buck, for the Expos. That's just the sign of the times in Montreal. But this gentleman, you see that cowboy hat, has signatures from players going back to 1969 when expansion came to Major League Baseball in the National League, and the Expos have their first year of existence.
Well, you have to admire his dedication. He is here just about every night to watch his favorite team. Quite an interesting history here in Montreal. 1994, many people felt they had the best team in baseball.
Yep.
And then the strike hit. They broke up the team, and they're still looking for that same type of success.
Already the team has played 16 games in Puerto Rico and San Juan, and another stretch still to go. And 10-6, 6 more left in September. And you talk to players and coaches about that. I think when they first got down there, it was a novelty. There are 4 natives of Puerto Rico on the Montreal roster, and 1 player who was born there but then grew up in another part of Latin America. So several really had a homecoming. They were real heroes, as you can imagine, as Hernandez takes a strike, with so many loyal fans following them. And players from Latin America, the other countries, able to fly their families into the games in Puerto Rico since everything is so close there. But after a while, it can wear on you because you're still in a hotel. You're not at home.
Well, Frank Robinson talked about that long road trip. They had 25 games that they were on the road, and they played them as home games down in San Juan, but they were still living out of suitcases. And then they had that long trip from San Juan to Seattle, and that was very difficult.
Down goes Livan Hernandez, second out of the 3rd inning. Saw that 81 playoff berth. That's been it for Montreal. It came so close in '94, the strike year without the playoffs and the World Series. And former New York Met and longtime Montreal Expo, Gary Carter, adorns the front of the team's yearbook, their media guide. He has been voted into the Hall of Fame. And old number 8 will go in as an Expo. Not as a New York Met, where he won his World Series in '86. Part of that '81 team that lost to the Dodgers in the playoffs.
And Rick Mundy home run in '81. There's a career with the Expos. Came back in '92 after stints in San Francisco, New York, and Los Angeles. But the kid, that's what they call him here in Montreal. He is going into the Hall of Fame, and he deserves it.
First ever hat on the Hall of Fame induction plaque as a Montreal Expo. So some history in Cooperstown this year. Macias with 2 down. Leadoff hitter popped out off the cement ring of the top of the stadium in the first. Bit of controversy. Frank Robinson, the manager of Montreal, came out to protest. Those are the ground rules, properly observed by our crew tonight. Bill Welke, Scott Higgins, Wally Bell, and Rob Drake. Off the cement below the blue roof. That's where it hit in foul ground. And it was caught by Tomei at first. 3-2 pitch. Got him.
Bill Wilkie said that it hit him, so that will be officially a hit by pitch as opposed to ball 4. Duckworth very comfortable staying inside, and this ball just brushes up against the jersey of Jose Macias. That running fastball stays inside and just got a piece of it.
Edwards Guzman is next. Struck out swinging against Duckworth in the first. He's 0 for 1.
Now this is where the Phillies are somewhat vulnerable. Anytime you get somebody with speed at first base, they have allowed 70 of 79 stolen base attempts this year. And it becomes a factor in one-run ball games, obviously, but Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach, doesn't want his pitchers to take away from their focus. That's getting the hitter out, especially here with 2 outs. Focus on the batter. Don't worry about the base runner. And if you have your mechanics together, you're going to get the hitter out.
If you're thinking about stolen base threat with Macias, he's only 3 for 4 this year.
There the numbers we were talking about. Just 7 of 57 thrown out. Now, mind you, before Joe Kerrigan came to Philadelphia, Livan was throwing out 35% of the runners. So he got a little bit more help from his pitchers.
Tap foul.
But the pitchers are pitching much better under the guidance of Joe Kerrigan, so I guess you give up the stolen bases. And I spoke to him specifically about it tonight. And he said there are times when I will have them pay particular attention. Early in the game, I would just as soon have them concentrate on the hitter, especially with 2 outs. And he does not like the slide step. He thinks it creates too many flat, high pitches in the strike zone.
Drastic change in numbers, though, from prior years with successful base stealing. That is remarkable.
Well, you have to have the support of your manager, and the catcher has to understand that there are going to be ugly numbers in his behalf. But the flip side, and the good one, is the ERA is very good. There's a pitch out.
Pitch out. Throw to Rollins is not in time. Throw from Lieberthal does not get Macias, who steals second with 2 down in the third. 4th stolen base of the year for Jose.
Well, Kerrigan guessed right. He called for the pitch out. And Lieberthal is a little bit deliberate. Good jump at first base by Macias. The throw is high. Macias slides underneath the tag from Rollins. See how he got his hand to the outside. Now watch how deliberate Lieberthal is. It was a very slow developing pitch out. But Kerrigan guessed on the right pitch.
Now it's 2-1 to Guzman toward third, and Bell waits for a clean true hop to Toman. Plenty of time. A little bit of a threat after the stolen base from Macias, but Duckworth dodges the bullet. 52nd career start for Brandon Duckworth tonight. And Larry Bell is telling us before the game if he can get 6 strong innings out of Brandon, he'd be very happy. Right now in the 4th inning, his team has got the 1-0 lead thanks to Rollins' solo homer in the first. As Abreu leads it off, the Phil's right fielder struck out swinging against Hernandez in the first. He's 0 for 1. Book on Duckworth, he tends to get mentally burned out early in a game, and very high pitch count, runs deep into counts, can be into the 6th inning, sometimes well over 100 pitches, and then he's done, but appears to be a bit more efficient tonight, Buck.
Well, Dave, what they have to do with Brandon Duckworth is get his stamina up. This is just his 9th start of the season, and because he started out on the disabled list, they skipped him a couple of times in the rotation because of off days and the weather. So he doesn't have the normal amount of starts that you would have at this point of the season, so they've got to build up his stamina. That's good for the second half of the season when he does get it built up where he can stretch himself out. But it's all about pitch efficiency.
Bray watches the 90-mile-an-hour fastball from Hernandez go by, and plus the injury Duckworth sustained earlier in the year, that line drive in Baltimore off the arm, put him on the DL for a while, off his pitching arm. So he had to overcome that issue as well. 2-2 to Abreu. Puts a charge into it, right center field, pretty deep. Wilkerson off the top of the wall. And a 2-base hit for Abreu, cruising into second with a leadoff double in the 4th. He guessed right and absolutely crushed that one to deep right center field. Missed a home run by a couple of feet.
Well, Abreu, we talked about how he's worn out the Expos all year long, and this is a big ballpark, and he just misses a home run right top of the fence in center field. Brad Wilkerson waits for it, hoping it'll stay in the park, and it did. But it's a leadoff double, his 19th of the season.
4th hit of the game for Philadelphia. Montreal, no hits yet. They're coming to you from Olympic Stadium in Montreal, Quebec. Dave Reinbuck Martinez, ESPN's Monday Night Baseball. Expos and Phil starting a 3-game series. Each team in that final stretch run toward the All-Star break. And the All-Star game in Chicago a week from tomorrow night. This year, as Lieberthal hits, 1 on, nobody out in the 4th. Little drama with the Midsummer Classic. Winning team gets home field advantage in the World Series. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm not sold on it yet. I don't know that that's the way it should be determined. You put a lot of pressure on the managers, and you certainly put an onus on some all-stars who aren't going to have anything to do with the postseason. I like the way they just alternated. Just a chance how you're going to get home field advantage. But you're liable to have a couple of players not even involved in a pennant race determine the outcome of who gets home field advantage, which I think is a huge advantage in the 7-game World Series.
No question. Ask Anaheim. They were glad to close it out in their home field last year. Lieberthal, 1-2 count. Hernandez trying to keep this a 1-0 game. Off the outside corner, count levels at 2-2. Well, the problems, of course, emerging last year in Milwaukee with the tie game, and each pitching staff completely depleted, and the commissioner, Bug Selig, well, had to call it a tie. And that did not go over well with fans, the media to say the least, and players too.
And I tell you, that's a manager's nightmare during a regular season game, is managing your pitching staff to make sure if you go into extra innings that you have plenty of arms left. And both those managers had an inkling, especially Joe Torre, when he talked to Joe Buck in the middle of the game and talked about, well, you know, I'm getting everybody in, but I hope we don't have extra innings.
3-2 pitch towards center, and Wilkerson on the move has got it for the first out of the fourth. Jose Vidro, the Expos second baseman, is going to the All-Star game. We asked him how he feels about that format with home field advantage.
It's an honor to be there, so you really got to go out there and play like it's a normal game, like it's a regular game. You know, it's for us. We feel that it's going to be a battle, you know, but it's nothing different from last year when there was not this home field advantage going around.
The big thing that the players have to remember is all of them might not get into the game. With this at stake, you have to save back players that you might normally pinch hit in a regular season type of ball game. And that's the way they have to play this All-Star game now.
Burrow waves the breaking ball way outside. He's in the 0-1 hole, and the expanded roster, right? We're up to that 32-man format with the kind of wild card spot, that late vote extra player. So a lot of changes for the All-Star game this year.
Yeah, it wasn't always the case where every player had an opportunity to get into the game.
Towards short. Cabrera makes the easy throw across the diamond. 2 down in the fourth on the play. Abreu to third. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, ESPN's hit reality series Beg, Borrow, and Deal returns for season 2. 8 contestants split into 2 teams, meet each other for the first time in Miami Beach. The first to reach Mount Rushmore in South Dakota with proof of 10 successfully completed tasks will be crowned the winner. How about some of those tasks? Playing a set of tennis against either Venus or Serena Williams. Good luck. Making an NBA three-pointer inside an NBA arena. Turning a double play with David Eckstein. Noma, Garcia Parra, or A-Rod. And that should be a lot of fun to watch. I would not want to take on either Venus or neither nor the Wimbledon finalists of this year. Serena wins yet another Wimbledon crown.
Boy, what a great match.
Man, 3-setter this year. Sort of anticlimactic, though, for match point, you know? Neither wants to lose or beat the other sister. They're so close. It's really an amazing story to see that kind of dominance. Here's Bell. He's 0 for 1 grounded to the shortstop Cabrera in his first appearance in the second. I might choose the NBA three-pointer.
Just sneak in there and throw one up.
I'm taking that. I can hit it free. I cannot return a Serena or Venus Williams serve. 120 miles an hour. Forget it. No chance. Sneaking in is an issue. Got some ESPN ID.
Yeah, we can do that. That's not a problem.
I just say, hey, I'm Buck Martinez. You got to let me in.
Problem is, hoop's probably not up most of the time.
You got rock and roll and rodeos and other events happening at those buildings this time of year. That's why it's a challenge. Abreu at third, trying to make it a 2-0 game for the Phils in the visiting fourth. These two teams begin a 3-game series. Bell trying to hover over the Mendoza line. 2-2 pitch. Sprayed foul.
Dave, you made a great point earlier in the game. This is another similar situation. Bo has seen it all year long. Leadoff double down to the bottom third of the order, and they're not capitalizing on this opportunity. It's a one-run game. You've got a chance to expand your lead. Abreu doubles, then you can't move him along. Lieberthal flied to center, and Burrow grounded to shortstop, and now with 2 outs, David Bell has to come up with a big hit. But the bottom part of the order has squandered an awful lot of scoring opportunities for Philadelphia.
2-2 pitch. Hit hard toward third. Guzman, plenty of time, but it's a high throw. Nicely done, Cordero. Will makes the tag on Bell, sprinting by. And at bottom third of the order, more struggles for Larry Bowa. Still, he has a 1-0 lead. Home fourth inning on ESPN's Monday Night Baseball. And Orlando Cabrera to lead it off for Montreal. For a 3-2 walk in his first appearance in the first. As the Expos continue their quest for their first hit of the night. Will Cabrera become another member of the National League All-Star team? There's still a possibility. Fans can log on and decide who makes that last roster spot. Rollins charging. Bell as well. Quick throw won't be in time. Cabrera legs out the first hit of the game for Montreal. Infield single in the fourth inning.
Well, the Phillies are used to these types of hits in their old stadium, the Vet, when they had that hard turf. Cabrera, sensing he's got a base hit all the way, busts it down the first base line. This ball hit right off home plate. Goes up into the air, and David Bell comes across from third base, gloves it, but his throw is much too late at first. Tell you what, that's the way the Phillies used to hit in that old Vet where the hard turf was before they replaced
Maddox.
it.
How many guys like that?
Bake McBride.
That's right, 70s. When the Vet first opened at Three River Stadium and Riverfront, those three kind of the same turf. The old style fields. It's old style now. Now it's Vidro. They had some quick teams back then.
Larry Bowa got a few of those hits on that hard turf. Cabrera 10 for 11 in steals this year. And we mentioned how the Phillies have problems shutting down the running game, and Duckworth keeping his eye on Cabrera. Now, Joe Kerrigan, we talked about his philosophy regarding the running game. He doesn't want Duckworth to use a slide step, and he will ask him to hold the ball from time to time. But you can see that he's really studying his right-hander's delivery here.
You saw the speed Cabrera possesses as he legged out the infield single moments ago. Buck said he's 10 of 11 with stolen bases. Andy Chavez, who's not in the Expo lineup tonight, is the team leader in thefts. He's 50 and 21 this year. And Lieberthal will be very careful. Bluffs doesn't go. Down the left field line, and it's just fouled. So Cabrera trying to become another member of the National League All-Star team. Castillo's had a great year with the Marlins, as has Jeff Jenkins in Milwaukee. Patterson out for the year, though, with the ACL tear, so he's not available.
Boy, that's horrible news. Corey Patterson stretching for the bag at first base, landed awkwardly on a knee, and he walked off the field, and they were encouraged by that, but they find out today he's lost for the season.
Cubs starting tonight just 2 games behind St. Louis for the NL Central lead, as Duckworth again very careful with the speedy Cabrera. Fans can log on to MLB.com to elect that final player for the National League and American League rosters. All-Star game July 15th in Chicago, a week from tomorrow, and the fans who are here are not pleased that Cabrera is being minded so closely.
Well, here's where Joe Kerrigan really wants Duckworth to refocus on Vidro. He doesn't want him to be so preoccupied with Cabrera. that he makes a fat pitch to Vidro. And you're dealing with a 327 hitter with some power. And it's the 4th inning, and Kerrigan talks to his pitchers about controlling the damage, controlling the inning, staying away from multiple run innings. You gave up an infield hit now. Don't get preoccupied with a stolen base.
Cabrera not going. Inside corner, says Bill Welke. To level a count at 2-2 to Jose Vidro, the all-star bound second baseman of Montreal. Rounded out to shortstop Jimmy Rollins in his first appearance in the first. Table setters really for the Expos over the last several years, trying to get it done, although now Vidro hits in the cleanup hole. Cabrera on the run, and in that vacated hole, perfect hit and run. Base hit from Vidro all the way to third is Cabrera, and the Expos are in business. Back-to-back singles, Cabrera and Vidro, and they've got runners in the corners with nobody out in the home fourth.
Yeah, this is the part of this ball club where they've got to do some damage. Cabrera breaks it first. You can see the second baseman holds his ground. Polanco, it's just pulled through the right side. Vidro gets a base hit. Watch Cabrera here as he gets towards second base. He looks to his coach saying, hey, where's the ball? And he says, come on over here. But he was in a straight steal mode. He had to look up and locate the coach, and then got the wave over from Manny Acta.
We talked about logging on to MLB.com as the battery meets at the mound. Also do that for the ESPY Awards, which is coming up. You can vote for the Canadian golf hero. First ever Canadian, Mike Weir, to win a Masters tournament. It's all coming up live Wednesday, July 16th at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Log on to ESPN.com, keyword ESPY. You can see the different candidates as Tiger won the Western Open yesterday. Imagine that he'll get many of the votes. Maybe it's the Big Easy, Rich Beam, TL3, who knows?
Mike Weir has really targeted the British Open. He is really structuring his game to try to capture that title as well. And this could be a special year for the left-hander.
Wilkerson, the center fielder, flew out to left fielder Pat Burrell in his first appearance. He's 0 for 1. You see the RISP numbers for Wilkerson. Near 300 and 34 knocked in. Hitters count here. Up 2-0 in the count. Runners at the corners. Toward left field. Burrell on the move. Will not have a play on this one. Cabrera will score. Vidro being held up at third. It's an RBI double for Brad Wilkerson. And we are tied at 1. Goes with a pitch perfectly as he slices the double to deep left field.
Brad Wilkerson had a tough day yesterday with 4 strikeouts. Here he hits a tough pitch from Brandon Duckworth, a sinking fastball down and away. Hammers it down the left field line all the way to the wall. Burrow gets it back in quick enough to save the second run. Cabrera jogs home from third. Vidro had to stop at third. Wilkerson picks up the double in the RBI. Remember how preoccupied Duckworth was with Cabrera. After an infield hit, he gave up the first hit of the game, was a chopper off the plate. Then he worried about the base runner, and all of a sudden, boom, boom, single, double, and you're in a tie game. That's the aspect of discounting the base stealing game that Joe Kerrigan wants his pitchers to focus on. Now, in the middle of the lineup, there are 2 more base runners in scoring position. All because you focused on that guy at first base, worried about a steal.
Now, we talked earlier about durability and mental exhaustion for Duckworth. That might, Buck, tie into your point very well, that maybe he gets a bit overwhelmed when the chips are down. And he ran into a little adversity. As you mentioned, no hits through 3, then 3 straight hits to begin the home fourth for Montreal. Cabrera, the chop infield single. It wasn't even hit hard off home plate, just tapped it. But he legged it out. Vidro a single to right field. Wilkerson slicing the double into the left field corner. And now Will Cordero trying to keep the rally going here with nobody out in the 4th inning. And the pitch count continuing to balloon for Brandon Duckworth. Again, he's well behind Cordero. 2-0. Off the outside corner, it's 3-0 to Will Cordero.
All of a sudden, he's lost his command. That infield chopper was the first hit of the ball game. And then he got a little too fine, and now the inning is becoming a mountain.
3-0 to Cordero. Missed. Boy, Larry Bowa, it's almost like he could predict exactly what was going to happen with Duckworth tonight. We'll talk more about that after we check in with Dave Revson.
Okay, Dave, thanks. Cubs and the Marlins. Florida looking for its 4th straight win and off to a pretty good start. Pudge Rodriguez in the first off Matt Clement. It is deep and it is gone. 12th of the year for Pudge. 1-0 in favor of Florida.
Dave, the Marlins have won 3 straight after taking it to Philadelphia the last 3 days, and they're red hot for Jack McKeon. 800th career win for Jack McKeon this weekend. Here's Callaway, grounded out to second in his first appearance. The Expos right fielder 0 for 1. Bases loaded, nobody out. What an opportunity here for Callaway to unload and break this game open. Appeal to Rob Drake. Wilkerson, the only grand slam of the year hit by Montreal so far.
And it's in Puerto Rico against the Mets and David Cone, and Ron Callaway, who has hit well with the bases loaded, would like to join Brad Wilkerson in that department.
1-1 to Callaway. Way inside of the 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Last note on Jack McKeon, he loves playing the Phils with history on the line. 300th, 500th, 800th career win as a manager, all against the Phillies.
He gave Larry Bowa his start too as a manager when he named Bowa the AAA manager for Las Vegas.
Base hit right field for Callaway. 1 run scores. Wilkerson held up at third. It's a 2-1 Montreal lead. Vidro is in thanks to the RBI single from Ron Callaway. And the Expos keep the roll going in the 4th. Still nobody out.
Just a fastball out over the plate. Callaway pulls it through the right side of the infield, and the Expos have erased that deficit and taken the lead. And the bases are still loaded, and Joe Kerrigan is up on the top step of the dugout. Left-hander Hector Mercado is loosening up down the left field line for Philadelphia.
Snyder's career with the sacks juice. You saw the numbers. Big hack. Knowing with Duckworth in a struggle mode, he's probably going to go right down the middle with a fastball to try to get ahead. There's the pen for the Phils getting loose in the person of Mercado. Expos catcher struck out swinging in his lone appearance in the 3rd. He's 0 for 1. Base is still loaded full of Expos.
Boy, Duckworth's really come out of his delivery now. He can't find the strike zone. Everything is up, missing badly, and it all goes back to that infield chopper, how the starter can let things get away.
That fastball not even close. Off the outside corner. Wilkerson at 3rd, Cordero at 2nd, Callaway, the runner at first base, still nobody out in the 4th, and that's the pitch count breakdown. Exactly even, but a big majority of those pitches coming in this inning. Large percentage. Every hitter seems to work the count pretty deep. Broken bat. Short right field. It's going to fall. And over the head to the outfielder there. Wilkerson is in. Cordero being waved home. Callaway, the big turn at third. Held up there. Jumping back into second is Schneider. Bird and Abreu some trouble with the ball off the bounce of the turf here in Montreal. 2 runs in. Thanks to the double from Schneider. It's a 4-1 game. Still nobody out, Buck.
Take a look at this little flare right off the end of the bat. Big swing, and Abreu can't make the play. Bird almost falls down as he slips on the turf. By the time he recovers, 2 runs come in. Schneider stops at second. Callaway stopped at third. And there are still no outs here in the fourth. 5 runs in already.
One game. Now Schneider, after the 11th double of the year, sees his pitcher and battery mate Hernandez try to keep it going. Runners at second and third, and I'm telling you, Callaway was halfway home. He took a huge turn at third before being held up at the last second.
Well, you might say, why wouldn't you gamble with the pitcher spot coming up next? But then Livan Hernandez is a .244 lifetime hitter. He can put the ball in play. Hit him.
It hit him. And Livan is not at all pleased about it. He and Duckworth have some words. Look out. Here come the dugouts. The umpire's trying to keep control here as Bill Wilkie issues the proper warnings. And emotions flare in Montreal.
Well, Duckworth is frustrated, obviously, by this game getting out of hand. And Joe Kerrigan, recognizing that, just tucks him back to the mound. Livan Hernandez was upset because it hurt. The ball was inside. He said, just throw the ball over the plate. And then Duckworth came off the mound because he's frustrated. He's given up 4 runs in this inning. Take a look at this pitch. It's a running fastball inside. Hernandez tries to duck out of the way. It hits him on a forearm. And then he reacts and says, hey, just throw the ball over. And then Duckworth goes back at Hernandez because Duckworth is frustrated. Now, you think I'm going to try to hit you? Frustration. Still nobody out.
The last thing Brandon Duckworth would be doing, logically, is throwing at Livan Hernandez in the pitcher's spot, having already surrendered 4 runs with no one out and runners at second and third. I can't imagine that would in any way ever be intentional.
Now, it's not intentional, but Boa's frustrated because Duckworth just lost it here in the 4th inning, and now he's just going to take his frustration out on Bill Wilkie and Wally Bell, and he threw him out.
Wow. Larry Boa gets run. And now the Phil skipper will get his last words in before heading to the clubhouse.
Well, Bill Wilkie had heard enough, and Boa was out there, and I feel like Boa was simply frustrated by the situation. He watched Brandon Duckworth self-destruct here in the 4th inning. And now Wally Bell is on to monitor this discussion. Boa's trying to make his point to Bill Wilkie.
Larry Boa. Why was Livan Hernandez so angry, Buck?
Because it hurts. He comes inside, hits him on his right bicep, and the pain prompted him to go there. and then Wilkie says it wasn't a swing. You're hit by the pitch, and he's looking at his arm. He got hit on the bicep, and he was pretty hot. And then Duckworth goes back at Livan, and this is frustration on Duckworth's part. He is just self-destructed in this situation. Now Gary Varsho, who will serve as the acting manager, takes the ball from Brandon Duckworth. Still nobody out in the 4th inning. It's going to be Hector Mercado in relief of Brandon Duckworth, who saw the wheels fall off here in the 4th inning.
What a mess Brandon Duckworth has created here for Philadelphia. Larry Bow, his manager, in support, trying to help him out. He got run tonight.
We ride together.
Go, go!
We die together. Bad boys for life.
What you gonna do when we come for you? Rated R. In theaters everywhere, July 18th.
And this is why home field advantage in the World Series means everything.
Now, for the first time ever, the league that wins the All-Star game will earn home field advantage in the World Series. The stakes are raised. The intensity.
Hector Mercado trying to put out the fire here for Philadelphia, and it's raging at the moment. Bases loaded, nobody out. 4th inning, top of the order for Macias. In his 12th game of the year, Mercado looking for his first victory right now. He's just thinking about somehow getting out of a huge jam. Duckworth, the starter, still on the hook for 3 runners with nobody out in the Expos 4th. Macias hacking at the high heat. Callaway, the runner at 3rd. Ryan Snyder, the catcher, and Livan Hernandez at first base after being hit by the Duckworth pitch, which turned out to be Brandon's last of the night. Macias was hit by a pitch, stole a base in the 3rd, and popped out on that wild play to Tome in foul ground in the 1st. 0 for 1.
Well, Macias has a little more pop from the right side. The switch hitter is, that's a right-handed hitter who's got a chance to do some damage here, and all these runs are Brandon Duckworth's responsibility. All 3 base runners.
Trying to increase on the bases loaded stats in his career at the plate. Off the inside corner. Count even now at 2-2 to Jose Macias, the Expos left fielder.
Dave, that's how starters can be so frustrating for a manager, as you watch Brandon Duckworth sail through the first 3 innings, no hits, and then an infield chopper, and he just lost it. Lost his command, lost his focus, and he's out of the game.
Caught foul.
He's breezing along, making all the pitches, getting his breaking ball over. His changeup was very effective. And then in the 4th inning, a chopper off the plate led to his undoing.
7 straight base runners. 7 straight men reaching for the Expos, including 3 hits in a row, a walk, 2 hits, and a hit batsman in Hernandez. Two to Macias. Toward 3rd, backhanded bell bobbled for the moment. He'll tag out the runner and Snyder. Callaway scores though on the play, and the Expos have their 5th run of this 4th inning. Finally, the Phils retire a Montreal batter.
David Bell is upset. He should have had 2 on that ball, and he knows it. He didn't mind giving up that run if you could get 2 outs, but the bobble cost him. Backhand, it looked like he got in between going for the bag and gloving it, and then he recognizes all he's going to do is tag out Brian Snyder, but a run comes in, and it cost him an out.
Edwards Guzman is next. Was at 1st and 2nd, slashing that foul. Down the left field line. Struck out swinging in the 1st against the starter Duckworth. Also grounded to 3rd and David Bell. Edwards 0 for 2. An opportunity here though with Hernandez and Macias aboard. Jose gets the RBI in that fielder's choice a moment ago. Played by Bell at third.
This Expos ball club has played very well in this ballpark. They're 26-14 going into this game tonight. And you just got to give them a lot of credit because there isn't an awful lot of excitement inside this ballpark.
Taps beyond the reach of Mercado. Nice play there, though, from Polanco, and the runners will move up 90 feet each.
Well, now the David Bell plays even more important because had he turned 2 on the previous ground ball, they'd be out of the inning. The Expos have a chance to cash in and expand their lead with their cleanup hitter coming to the plate. Excuse me, their third hitter, Orlando Cabrera.
Cabrera led this whole inning off for Montreal with an infield single, just what appeared to be at the time, Buck, an innocent tapper towards short. Bell hopped in front of Rollins. His throw was well late, and then the wheels completely came off of starter Brandon Duckworth. 5 runs are in, all his responsibility. Cabrera and the Expos bat around here in the home fourth. Frank Robinson has his team playing well despite so much to overcome. Can't just lose your major superstar who drives in 110+ runs a year and contend, can you?
Well, Orlando Cabrera has really picked up the slack, and Jose Vidro understands how important he is to this ball club.
Vladimir went down. Orlando's been our guy. He's been an RBI man. He's been the guy to hitting doubles, clutch hits, give him a lot of chances to win ball games with his defense and with his bat. So our pitching has been great, but I think without Cabrera doing his job out there, we wouldn't be as good as we are right now.
Quite a double play combination. That defense up the middle has been super here in Montreal the last several years. Third All-Star appearance for Vidro, and perhaps Cabrera going as well. We'll find out as fans log on to MLB.com and elect themselves that final spot in each of the National and American League rosters for next Tuesday's All-Star game. 1-2 to Orlando. Just missed inside corner. Cabrera's been aboard twice as his double play partner Vidro waits on deck. Walked on a 3-2 pitch in the first. The infield single we talked about to lead off the 4th inning. Popped up. Polanco in short right will call off the others and make the play. Finally, the bleeding stops, but Duckworth shell unravels, and it's a 5-1 Expo lead. Ryan Schneider behind the plate for Montreal, enjoying a 5-1 lead now. ESPN's Monday Night Baseball. 5 runs across in the 4th inning. Keep in mind the Expos didn't have a hit prior to that 4th. Bird to lead it off. Marlin grounded to shortstop Cabrera in his first appearance. Now he's back in the 30s, 0 for 1. Got to be tough for Larry Bow to take that one. The way things are going so smoothly, and a couple of rocky moments, and suddenly.
Well, that's why a baseball season is spread over 6 months, and you have hills and valleys. It's a roller coaster ride. Phillies just won 7 straight, and now they've lost 4 out of 5.
Bird goes the other way, base hit, leading off the 5th for the Phillies.
So you just have to maintain consistency. Brandon Duckworth was breezing, and then Orlando Cabrera hit one off home plate, and it goes for an infield hit, first hit of the ball game. And then Duckworth got preoccupied with the possibility of Cabrera stealing. A couple of throws to first. He was worried about the hitter, and all of a sudden the floodgates open. Cabrera, Snyder, Hernandez gets hit. It would lead to 5 runs. Duckworth's frustrated.
While watching that double play as Mercado tried to bunt the runner, Marlon Bird over, instead bunts back to Hernandez, and they turn the 1-6-3 double play. 2 down to the 5th.
Livan Hernandez is a remarkable athlete. Watch how quickly he gets on this ball. Bunted right back to the mound. One hop, turns and fires a strike to the shortstop, who returns the ball to first base in time to get the double play. Well, if it can go wrong for the Phillies tonight, it is going wrong. It looked like they were in control of this game. Jimmy Rollins hits a first inning home run, and Brandon Duckworth was shutting down the Expos very efficiently. And then he ran into the fourth.
Polanco with 2 down now in the 5th after Burr is erased with the double play. Mercado hits into. Polanco singled to center and struck out looking. In his 2 plate appearances respectively in the 3rd and 1st, he is 1 for 2. Phil's advantage, 5 hits tonight. The Expos put them together at the right time, something Larry Boa, who has since been ejected, talked to us about before the game. Just stringing hits together right time. But timely hitting is such a huge part of the game. In addition to production from the lower part of the order and Pat Burrell coming around. We didn't talk about Duckworth imploding, and that's what happened tonight.
Sure was, and you know what? Their starting pitching has been so good. And then Vicente Padilla on Saturday lasted 5 innings. Randy Wolf uncharacteristically went 5 yesterday. And now Brandon Duckworth is out after 3+.
Let's go back to the studio and Dave Revson.
Dave, thanks. Cubs and Marlins. Derek Lee in a 1-1 game in the 2nd. Unties it with 1 swing of the bat. His 17th makes it 2-1 Marlins. They would add another in the 2nd to go up 3-1. Bottom of the frame now, Alex Gonzalez. The Cubs, Alex Gonzalez answers 2-run shot off Josh Beckett. It is a 3-3 ball game.
Yeah, Dave, you got to specify which Alex Gonzalez when the Marlins and Cubs play. A tight race of the NL Central continuing to really be interesting as the Astros and Cubs start the day 2 games behind St. Louis. Cincy and Pittsburgh still in there. And the Brewers bringing up the rear, but only 10.5 back. It's good to see alignment, realignment sometimes really pays off when you have a good balance.
This will probably be the most hotly contested division in baseball this year. And in Chicago, Matt Clement is pitching that game for the Cubs, coming off his best start of the season last time out against Philadelphia, when he one-hit the Phillies over 7 innings.
Rollins takes a strike in the inside corner. Jimmy had that 1-out homer to left in the 1st inning. Solo shot for the Phil's only run. His 5th of the season. Flew out to center as well. Wilkerson, he's 1 for 2. That is a great race to watch. Tony La Russa's team is 2 games up. And you got to check the standings on a regular basis. Rollins struck out to end the Phillies' 5th. They'll strand Polanco at first after his walk. Jose Vidro had a single to right field, scored a run, part of the 5-run 4th inning explosion for Montreal. It's here in the 5th inning. Bill Kerrigan, the pitching coach, had some words with Bill Welke, Buck, a few moments ago.
In between innings, Kerrigan was getting on Welke, and the home plate umpire told him, don't go there. We've already had this discussion, and you're a manager short right now, so let's just calm everything down.
Larry Boa has been ejected. If you're just joining us, Gary Varsho taking over the managerial duties for the Phils. And at least in the case of removing Brandon Duckworth, the starting pitcher, from the mound. And Mercado, his replacement, now faces Hernandez, at least at the present time for the Phils. Sprayed foul by Jose Vidro. 1 for 2, single and scored in that 4th inning.
Now, Livan Hernandez, remember, he got hit on that right arm when he was at the plate in the 4th inning. Got the towel wrapped around him to keep it warm. Looked like I hit him on the back of his right arm, just above the elbow. And Dave, you asked me why he was so mad, and you know, a lot of people ask that all the time. And My answer is because it hurts. That's a hard thing to get hit by. Yeah, you get all fired up and then you get hit.
So really, Buck, you forget the situation because obviously Duckworth's not throwing at you there. You're the pitcher in the 9-hole. He's already in a heap of trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Second and third, still nobody out, right?
Yeah, the situation doesn't enter your mind. Just the fact that,
ouch.
Look at him showing his teammates, see, I got a big bruise on my arm now. And I'm a tough guy. I'm going to hang in there.
Top foul by Vidro. Long at bat here, leading off the home fifth for the Expos. Probably the topic of conversation right now in the dugout. Vidro draws the walk, leading off the fifth inning. We'll talk to you about the tight NL Central with Dave Repson a few moments ago. Tomorrow afternoon, the Major League Baseball season continuing. Giants and Cards, who lead that division, wrap up their quick two-game series. ESPN's day game. Bonds and the Giants hosting Albert Pujols, Jim Edmonds, and the Cardinals. Albert, the top vote getter in the National League. He'll be the starter, one outfield spot. For Dusty Baker and the National League team at the All-Star game next week in Chicago. Funny to see Pujols' reaction. Most surprised of anyone that he was the top vote getter. Heading into that final week of voting, he was actually fourth amongst the National League outfielders. And be a bit of a surprise in Chicago, especially. No Sammy Sosa at the All-Star game.
Yeah, well, he missed time with that toe injury, and then he was suspended. He didn't have the numbers, but you would think maybe he gets a little bit of juice because of the past history.
29 of the 63 players, Buck, making their first All-Star appearance. That's the most since 30 were chosen in '88 in that game in Cincinnati, and they're the starters for the National League, including Marcus Giles, second baseman for Atlanta.
Marcus Giles got off to a great start. He won the voting. He is looking forward to his first All-Star game. His brother Brian Giles of Pittsburgh was hopeful of the possibility of being named to the All-Star team. He's hitting over 300. But he said that he's going to go there and enjoy his brother's All-Star game. Nonetheless, going to share that with his younger brother Marcus.
2-1 pitch to Wilkerson, who doubled to left. Continuing that surge in the Expos fourth inning. That's a nice gesture. I like that from the Giles family.
Well, the Boone family's going to be there for sure. Two Boones.
Brett and Aaron, right?
That your mom and dad will probably be there to enjoy that moment.
3-1 catching the outside corner to Wilkerson, says Bill Welke, our home plate umpire tonight. So the count runs full to the Expos center fielder. 7 players chosen for first-time All-Star starts this year, including Giles, we talked about, Edgar Renteria, the Cardinals star, Troy Gloss of Anaheim, Javi Lopez from Atlanta. Wilkerson with Vidro on the move, draws a 3-2 walk. And again, the Expos have something going. This time it's in the 5th against Mercado. Runners at first and second, nobody out.
Now, Hector Mercado hasn't endeared himself to the Philadelphia Phillies coaching staff. He came in, got out of the inning, and then bunted into a double play in his first at bat. Now he's walked 2 here to start the 5th inning. You're already down by 4, and you don't want to encourage this Expo lineup any further.
Cordero drew a 3-0 walk, keeping the inning going in the 4th. Part of the 5 runs that crossed the dish for Montreal.
Well, you talk about the bullpen. They've been doing a great job over the last 13 games, but this is the 3rd game in a row in which the starter was quickly out of the game. Padilla, Wolf, and tonight Duckworth. Padilla went 5, Wolf went 5, and Duckworth couldn't get out of the 4th. Now Kerrigan is encouraging Mercado to be more aggressive here. Let's give your defense a chance to get you out of this.
Buck, this copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of Major League Baseball. MLB.com has the widest selection of items for the team you love. Shop MLB.com, the official site of wearing your heart on your sleeve. Cap, pullover, and lots more. MLB.com. It's 1-0 now to Cordero after the mound meeting with pitching coach Joe Kerrigan. Didn't help much. It's 2-0.
Well, Cordero's got a chance to really bust this game wide open here. He loves the opportunity to face a left-handed pitcher.
2-0 pitch. High and tight, and Mercado already has walked Vidro and Wilkerson to begin this 5th inning. Is now in a 3-0 hole to Will Cordero. Things are not looking up for Joe Kerrigan. Larry Bowen is watching from the clubhouse right now, and he can't be pleased. 3-0 pitch, green light, and it's foul back.
Yeah, that didn't surprise me, even though the first 2 hitters were walked. Even with Cordero at 3-0, I felt like Robinson would give him the green light in this situation.
Vidro and Wilkerson are the runners. 3-1 pitch. It was ball 4, I believe. Was it called ball 4? Yes, by Bill Wilkie. So Cordero walks, and although Vidro is thrown out, it won't count. Bases loaded, nobody out. Back to Dave Repsey.
Dave, thanks. Pirates and the Brewers. Jeff Jenkins up there. And the guys that's in the running for that final all-star spot. This one is going to the wall now. Check out Scott Podsednik, who's reached base now in 37 straight games. He is safe, but he gets the worst of it from Jason Kendall. Podsednik would leave the game. It's a cut under his eye. Brewers on top 2-0. Top of the 4th, Dave.
So once in a while, catchers, you know what it's like, got to dish out.
You bet.
You're going to run over and blindsided.
Take a look at the umpire on this last pitch. Lieberthal is going to throw to third base, but Will Wilkie comes out and says ball 4, no play at third. 3 straight walks by Mercado.
He has walked the bases loaded. Vidro, Wilkerson, and now Cordero all aboard. Second time Cordero in the last 2 innings has walked. Now it's Callaway, who had the RBI single to right in the 4th, part of the 5-run inning. Mercado just cannot buy a strike, period, right now. It's 2-0 to him.
Helpless feeling to be on the bench watching your pitcher fight his control.
Callaway hoping for something good to hit with the infield in. Swinging away, fouls it off left field line. Runners in scoring position this year. Montreal has done pretty well. And tonight they've continued the trend. Upping the number for Frank Robinson.
Frank's done a good job of keeping these guys upbeat in light of all of the key players they've lost to injury.
Strike call to Callaway. Evens things up in this count at 2-2.
Everybody has to deal with injuries, and you look around this National League, there are key players out just about everywhere. But the Expos don't have the wherewithal to go out and get an extra player, make a trade, or buy a minor league free agent to add to their depth.
2-2 pitch off the outside corner. And the count runs full with nowhere to put Ron Callaway. The bases are loaded full of Expos. Nobody out in the 5th inning. And the Phillies trying to avoid a 2nd consecutive disastrous inning. Helpless feeling. That's all the pitching coach of Philadelphia can do. Watch. 3-2 to Callaway. Call strike 3 in the inside corner. Down he goes for the first out of the 5th.
Well, you got to give Mike Lieberthal some credit there. He called for a breaking ball, figuring, what the heck? We've walked him with fastballs. Let's throw a breaking ball, and it fooled Callaway. Lieberthal, with a very good call, went ahead with the slider, thinking, you know, he hasn't thrown his fastball over. We got a 3-2 count here. We get the breaking ball close. We got a chance to get out of this at bat. Now, with the bases loaded and 1 out, double play ball would be something the Phillies would really relish.
Brian Snyder, the catcher for Montreal, has other ideas. He dunked that double into short right center field that hopped over the head of Abreu and Bird, scoring 2 and nearly 3 runs in the 4th inning. We're coming to you from Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Dave Ryan, Buck Martinez, our entire Monday Night Baseball crew here on ESPN.
Snyder's done a pretty good job hitting against left-handers at a 308 clip. Lieberthal had asked for time there as Brian Snyder was getting set.
Buck, officially you are the color analyst. C-O-L-O-U-R. I see that on your
in Montreal
label. Yeah. A little different spelling. Center field, C-E-N-T-R-E. You know. Got to go Canadian up here. Off the outside corner to Snyder, who's 1 for 2. He also struck out swinging in the 3rd inning. 123-meter shot. We're on a 24-hour clock, too, on the scoreboard. It's 21:02. 9:02 Eastern time. Subtle changes. Mercado missing again.
Well, I tell you, this is tough on the infield defense. You're thinking about turning a double play, but you've been standing watching ball after ball after ball. You get back on your heels, and then you get a hot shot, and you can't make a play.
Vidro, Wilkerson, Cordero still aboard. Defense at double play depth after being in when Callaway hit, and a called strike to Snyder.
Mercado's best chance of throwing a strike appears to be with that breaking pitch.
Seems to have a lot more confidence with that. Livan Hernandez, some theatrics the last time he hit. He's on deck now behind Snyder. Big swing and a miss. And down goes the Expos catcher. Second time he's been struck out swinging. 2 down now in the 5th inning. And Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach of the Phils, seeing Hector Mercado reach the verge of getting out of trouble.
Well, he created this situation. Now he's trying to get out of it. 3 straight walks and 2 straight strikeouts and 1 more out, and he'll be able to take a deep sigh as he walks off here, trying to keep the game to 4 runs.
Livan Hernandez, for a pitcher, loves hitting with runners in scoring position. Fouls that off, says Bill Welke, our home plate umpire tonight. 10 for 25. His last 25 ABs with runners in scoring position. That one foul right off.
Well, that didn't hit anything.
No, it didn't.
Bill Wilke called it dead immediately, thinking that it hit the batter in the batter's box, but it eventually rolled into foul territory anyway.
Walking the bases full. Vidro, Wilkerson, and Cordero. Now with 2 down, got a chance to get out of the big jam. Toward 3rd, hit pretty hard, but Bella's got it. Score at 5-3. And he does get out of the bases loaded, nobody out jam he created with 3 straight walks. Still, Livan Hernandez in Montreal enjoy a 4-run lead.
On July 25th, the future of man is in the hands of one woman. Angelina Jolie is...
Hello, boys.
Lara Croft.
Are you ready to play?
Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, rated PG-13. Friday, July 25th, everywhere.
Braves and Mets, Bill Murray, a little celebrity play-by-play.
Yeah, that's hit pretty far. Oof. Put your finger in the air and twirl it. That is in the seats. The home team.
That was Robert Fick going deep. It is now 6-0 Braves over the Mets. Dave.
All right, Dave. Thanks for the clarification. That's pretty fun. Listen to Bill Murray call a home run at Shea Stadium. I thought he was just a big golf fan.
Oh, no, he did the home run contest at Wrigley Field during the All-Star game a few years ago.
Thome leads it off for the Phils here in the 6th inning.
Now, I don't think he's a golf fan. He's a golfer.
Very good golfer, actually.
Well, I don't know about that.
I heard he's got some game.
He's hacked it around Pebble Beach pretty good with
I know about that.
Scott Simpson.
Tap foul by Jim Thome. 0 for 2 so far. Grounded out to Cordero at first. Struck out looking in the 3rd. Making a big adjustment to the National League. For all those years of success in Cleveland. And plenty of all-star appearances. Ripped left field. Macias will not have a chance there. Slicing away from him. Thome on the move will cruise in with a leadoff double. His first base hit. Getting things going in style for the Phils in the 6th. Should he be going, Buck, in your opinion, to Chicago next week?
Well, you could argue that he should be going, but because the managers and the selection committee have to include different players, and Richie Sexson is the representative from Milwaukee who's having a fine season. He's got 1 more home run than Jim Thome, just 2 points behind him in batting average. So you could argue, well, that Sexson should go. Thome, he said, hey, you know what? There's so many good players. If you don't go, it just reflects the fact that they're awfully deep at first base. Todd Helton's having the best year at first base in the National League, at least. No one compares to Carlos Delgado in the American League.
Delgado gets the start in the American League at first. Just tearing apart American League pitching all year long. Abreu's next up. Double to right center in the 4th inning. The Phils try to get a rally going. Still their only run plated thanks to Rollins' solo homer early in this one in the 1st. And he went to left field for his 5th of the year. And Abreu is 1 for 2, struck out swinging in the 1st against Hernandez.
One thing the Phillies should remember is Livan Hernandez has given up 4 or more runs in 7 of his last 8 starts.
Toward short, Cabrera. It's Thome back and makes the easy play. 1 down in the 6th. It's been a back-and-forth game, certainly, for the Philadelphia Phillies. Buck, they had a great start tonight thanks to the Rollins home run in the 1st inning, and then Duckworth really had the wheels fall off. Larry Boa before the game said, I want him to go 6, but in the 4th things went south for him and he couldn't rebound.
Yeah, Dave, he just couldn't manage that 4th inning. He gave up the infield hit and then got a little too concerned about Orlando Cabrera stealing. And then before you knew it, he had given up 4 runs and it just got away from him. And it's just a concentration thing. I think that's the biggest thing managers ask of their pitcher is just manage the innings. You give up an infield hit and it didn't look like any big uprising, and all of a sudden you give up 5 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. So you have to manage that inning. Just take care of the damage control. Stay away from the crooked numbers and you'll always have a chance to stay in the ball game.
Lieberthal, the Phil's catcher, next, grounded out to Cordero at first, also lined to center, and Wilkerson, he's 0 for 2. Takes a strike here against Hernandez. And the count quickly 0-2 to Mike Lieberthal. Struggling Pat Burrell is next as his swoon continues. Now under 200. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Very nice play by Snyder behind the plate to block it.
Former Expo Real Cormier begins to loosen up down the left field line. Kerrigan does a pretty good job of managing the workload of his bullpen pitchers, making sure nobody really gets abused, trying to keep as many fresh arms down there as possible.
0-2 pitch waved at and missed by Lieberthal. Down he goes for the second out of the 6 for the Phillies.
Got a good tight slider here. Very quick, late-breaking slider. Lieberthal waves at it. It's off the plate outside. With 2 strikes, you got to try to protect. But Hernandez using the slider that time. Lieberthal couldn't detect the spin.
Good news stat for Pat Burrell. Despite all the struggles this year, a .346 career hitter in this stadium coming in. However, 0 for 2. You see the numbers now under 200. If you're his manager, what kind of things would you tell Pat Burrell to try to break out of a slump?
Well, the biggest thing you could do is to encourage him to hit strikes. I think we have seen him chase balls out of the zone. I mean, here's a guy that has improved his home run total each of his first 3 years. Hit 37 a year ago, and he's going to hit again. But he has just gotten off to a slow start, and things kind of steamrolled down the hill, and now he's really playing catch-up.
All right, Boa, before his ejection tonight, pointing out to us that Burrell has worked so hard to get out of the slump. They've tried everything possible. And then some to break out of it.
Excuse me, Dave. Charlie Lau, the late hitting coach that coached George Brett and Hal McRae, used to talk about hitting hard ground balls to the opposite infielder. For a right-handed hitter like Burrell, target that second baseman and just try to drive the ball as hard as you can on the ground toward that second baseman. His thinking behind that was that it would make you watch the ball, stay back, and not try to pull. Just drive the ball up the middle.
2-2 pitch, curveball. There he goes. Pull the string on him, and Hernandez had Burrell way out in front. Pat Burrell's struggles continue. He's been struck out twice now, 0 for 3 in the game. Great curve from Hernandez. He enjoys a 4-run lead. Native of Canada, Real Cormier is in the game now for the Phillies. 36th appearance for him out of the Phillies pen. Long time Major League veteran.
And Cormier from New Brunswick. Grew up in Moncton, New Brunswick. Pitched here for the Expos and has really turned things around this year. Started out in the Cardinals organization, went to Montreal, Boston, over to the Phillies. That's Ricky Leday, who's come in to play left field in the double switch. Leday will bat the 9th spot. Cormier will bat in Pat Burrell's spot.
Macias, top of the order. Leads things off 6th inning. He's 0 for 2 so far. Was hit by a pitch, stole a base in the 3rd. Had an RBI, fielder's choice toward 3rd and David Bell in the 4th. And popped out of the 1st. 0-2 to Macias. Yanked deep and foul.
I asked Joe Kerrigan what was the big difference in Cormier this year. Kerrigan had him twice previously in the middle 90s in Montreal when Kerrigan was the pitching coach there, and then in 99 and 2000 with the Red Sox. And he says Kerrigan got Cormier to be more upright in his pitching delivery. Gives him a much better angle to throw the ball downhill.
All right, 8 o'clock. ESPN's hit reality series Beg, Borrow, and Deal returns for season 2. 8 contestants split into 2 teams meet each other for the first time in Miami Beach. The first team to reach Mount Rushmore in South Dakota with proof of 10 successfully completed tasks will be crowned the winner. Plenty of tasks are possibilities, like facing one of the Williams sisters. An NBA three-pointer in an arena. Getting there is a challenge. Let's get ourselves a Dave Revson.
Dave, thanks. Astros and Reds. Cincinnati trying to end a 4-game losing streak, and this is not going to help things. Richard Hidalgo, bases full. They are full no longer. All 3 runners end up scoring. Astros go on top 4-1. They're up 6-1 now, top 5.
All right, David, thanks. Exciting game there between 2 of the real contenders in the NL Central.
And I tell you what, Houston had all they wanted in Pittsburgh. They were swept by the Pirates over the weekend. They're happy to get back home.
Tapped there by Guzman towards second. Easy play. Polanco 2 down in the home 6. The Expos with a big lead. It all started, though, very well for the Phils. Rollins went the opposite way, but in the 4th inning, the Expos buck just took over.
Well, Orlando Cabrera with the infield hit that opened up the floodgates. Pedro follows him up. Then the catcher, Brian Snyder. Wilkerson had a hit in the inning. Ron Callaway. There's Snyder's blooper to right field. Livan Hernandez gets hit. Duckworth would be out of the game. They exchange words. Boa gets thrown out. And it's a 5-1 game here in the 6th. Lots of fireworks a couple of days after the 4th of July, and Frank Robinson's team is in control.
Just ask some of our Canadian-based crew members. Do they have fireworks in Montreal on the 4th of July?
No, Canada Day, July 1st.
July 1st. Good job. It's Cabrera, as we mentioned, got it all going in that 4th inning with a little tap single. Looks so innocent. The infield hit. Perhaps he's Chicago bound. We'll find out. Saw one of those highlights with Dave Revson in the studio as Cabrera takes that pitch. How about Milwaukee, the VoteJeffJenkins.com. Big sign out there in left field. They're making sure everyone in Milwaukee knows to get online and be sure they can cast their vote and get another Brewer to Chicago. One-two from Real Cormier. Deep left field. This ball is long gone. No question about it. Orlando Cabrera takes Cormier way out of here. 6-1 Montreal. That ball was crushed. Man, what a shot.
Jose Vidra spoke of how valuable Orlando Cabrera has been since Vladdy Guerrero is out of the lineup, and he gets a breaking ball that stayed out over the plate, meant to be down and in, and he knew it immediately as soon as he touched it that he had gotten it all.
#13th homer of the year for Cabrera. Ricky Leday in left field took one step, and that was it. Didn't even bother to fully turn around and head with his back toward home plate to the wall, thinking he might have a shot at that one. Left the yard in a hurry. And the Expos expand the lead now to 5 runs. The cleanup hitter Vidra up here, 6th inning, 2 down.
It's only the 2nd home run that Real Cormier has allowed all year long.
Cabrera's enjoyed some success this year against the Phils in the home run department. May 30th hit 2 out against Philadelphia, and cashing in here tonight again. Vidra 1 for 2 in that damaging 4th inning against the starter. Duckworth had a single to right, score a run. Also has walked and grounded to shortstop Rollins. Off the end of the bat, followed by Rollins in short center field. But Orlando Cabrera has gone deep, his lucky 13th homer of the year. A laser beam shot to left field, and the Expos lead 6-1. Here on ESPN's Monday Night Baseball, Orlando Cabrera has been a big star. A huge part of that 4th inning where they plated 5 runs with an infield single, then homers to left, his 13th of the year in the 6th. And the Phillies in a big 5-run hole now. Third baseman David Bell twice has grounded out. He's 0 for 2, leads off the visiting 7th. Breaking ball levels a count at 1-1. So in Canada today, I mean, there are fireworks everywhere. Is it a huge thing? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so it's like our 4th of July.
Absolutely. It's huge.
Realize it. Who knew?
That's when all the teams up here wear red jerseys.
Yeah, okay.
Blue Jays wore their red jerseys for Canada Day, red hats.
I should know that. We do a lot of hockey for ESPN and ESPN too.
Seen that.
But we don't visit in July. I mean, our season, October to June. And No playoffs last year for Les Habitants. The Canadians didn't make it. Foul back. David Bell. Hernandez cruising. Give it up to 6 hits. Showed you the Rollins homer to get things going offensively for the Phils in the first, and that's been it. Toward short. Cabrera's been great with the bat. Smooth with the glove as well. Scored 6-3, 1 down in the 7th.
Now up the middle here in Montreal, these two, Vidro and Cabrera, have made 515 starts together. Longest current streak in the major leagues, and they are both star caliber players. Vidro, as we mentioned, making his 3rd All-Star trip this year. Orlando Cabrera has a chance, as he's one of 5 players you can vote for at MajorLeagueBaseball.com. Is he deserving to go to the All-Star game? And certainly the fans of the Chicago Cubs disappointed with the news today about Corey Patterson, their fine young center fielder, out for the season with a torn ACL.
Marlon Byrd fouls it off. Again, that list of the last entrant for the National League All-Star roster. We talked about the support in Milwaukee for Jenkins. Patterson is out with the ACL tear, and you said Benito Santiago should be going.
I think so. I think because of the success the Giants have had in his good year.
Byrd, nice job waiting on the breaking ball, and deposits that into short right center for a base hit. 2nd straight single for Marlon Byrd, the Phil center fielder. Scored with 1 down in the 7th. Tomorrow afternoon, MLB season continues. The Giants and Cardinals wrap up their quick 2-game series, but it is crucial for both races in the NL West and Central, respectively. ESPN's day game comes your way. 3:30 Eastern time, 12:30 on the West Coast. Barry Bonds head-to-head with Albert Pujols. What a year he's had in St. Louis. Jim Edmonds of the Cards. A little scare for Edmonds with that health issue he had in the clubhouse the other day. Did that get cleared up all right? Popped there to short left field and put away as Ledet hits in that 9-hole and pops off. Had to leave the St. Louis clubhouse with some dizziness.
Now, this time of the year, you talk to managers around baseball, and they are very cognizant of fatigue and guys wearing down and making sure they get proper amount of rest. And you look at this Expos club and look back to where they were before they started that 25-day trek that included home games in San Juan, Puerto Rico. That wore them down in my mind.
Toward second base. Polanco, leadoff hitter, retired easily by Montreal. Hernandez continues to cruise. He has got a 5-run lead. 7th inning stretch time in Montreal.
My technique when I get in the batter's box is to dig in, pull the pant legs up. I try to point the bat to center field, knock the dirt off, and try to look real mean. What do you think of that?
Major League Baseball Charities is a proud partner of Boys and Girls Clubs of America.
Now I want to teach you about Pine Tar.
Through programs like RBI and Rookie League, they bring baseball and softball to kids around the world.
Don't be afraid of the ball.
Together, they create a positive place for kids.
Madame et messieurs, bienvenue à Montréal. C'est ça la série. Which means, roughly, the series coming here to Montreal. We just experienced the sept manches alignées. 7th inning stretch. How's my French, Buck?
Very good. Very strong.
All those years of covering hockey up here. A quick steady. Bottom of the 7th inning. I don't know how to say that. Not any other language other than English. We'll go back to English only to the benefit of our audience and ourselves, I think. Wilkerson will lead it off. Home 7th for Montreal. Already that 6-1 lead. He had a big role in the huge 4th inning when they played at 5. Double to left. Knocked in a run. Cormier continued to work here for the Phils.
Phillies in the Expos. This is their 7th game of the season. Phillies came into this game with a 4-2 advantage. So these two teams will meet a lot more before it's all over.
Good rivalry in that NL East. We talked about the beginning of the 3-game series here. 3-1 count to Wilkerson to lead it off. And exciting with the games Montreal's playing next few days here. Critical toward their attempt to jump in the NL East before the All-Star break.
Well, they've got to really concentrate here against Philly and the Florida Marlins. They finish up here against the Marlins, a 3-game series before the All-Star break. They'll have Thursday off, and then they'll have the 3-day All-Star break, and then they meet the Phillies again in Philadelphia and go down to play the Marlins 2 games in Florida.
3-2 pitch to the former Florida Gator. Speaking of the Sunshine State, great college star with Andy Lopez at Florida as a college player was Brad Wilkerson. Standings in the NL East we talked about. Phil's just a 1.5 lead right now in the Expos, and all trying to close in on those red-hot Atlanta Braves, winners of 3 in a row against Montreal in that series. Frank Robinson's team won the first of the 4-game set, and then Atlanta took 3 in a row. Down goes Wilkerson, leading off the 7th for Montreal. Cordero is next. Wilkerson, first time he's been struck out tonight.
Well, take a look at this last pitch, just above the belt. Wilkerson with a big swing, but can't connect. Second strikeout for Cormier, who's working in his 2nd inning. And we talked about the Expos, and they finished up a game against the Phillies here, and then went to Florida, went to Philadelphia, and then they went down to Puerto Rico and played home games against the Angels in Texas, then went to Seattle, out to Oakland, back to Pittsburgh. When they started that trip, they were 32-18, and they were 2 games out, but they just were worn out from all the travel, and the players would never tell you that, but Frank Robinson thinks that had a lot to do with their fatigue and the fact that they saw that good record slip away. That, coupled with the loss of Vladdy Guerrero, who's been out for over a month with a herniated disc in his back. Fernando Tatis is on the disabled list, their 3rd baseman. 2 starters, Zach Day and Tony Armas Jr. Pretty tough to overcome all of those injuries.
Callaway, the on-deck hitter. He has a single to his credit to right field, part of that big 4th inning when they scored 5 runs. Cordero lifts this ball foul into the seats about 10 rows up. Now, Buck, you look at this lineup, they don't really appear to be overwhelming. Macias got a little speed at the top of the order. Guzman, a catcher by trade, playing 3rd now because of all the injuries. Cabrera and Vidro, as you mentioned, incredible consistency in the middle infield, but beyond those 2 players, no one's going to stand out in this lineup. But Frank Robinson, as Cordero singles to center, has got this team right in the wild card race right now. Back to Dave Revson, has some Atlanta news for us.
Dave, I do indeed. Taking on the Mets and Met killer Chipper Jones. The Larry thing really doesn't faze him. I think it's safe to say his 2nd homer of the game, 29th in his career against the Mets, most against any team. It is a 7-3 Braves lead.
2 more, Dave, for Chipper Jones. Talk about being hot. He'd been in a little slump prior to that weekend series with the Expos. 4 in 2 days. There's Callaway.
And it took Chipper Jones a while to get going with the home run ball, but he seems like he's going to pick up the slack. Everybody around him has been supporting the offense, and now Chipper Jones is going to take his turn.
24 homers Wow, is he ever hot? It's foul off the foot of Callaway.
Well, the Phillies got to within 4 games of the Atlanta Braves, and then they were swept by the Florida Marlins, while the Braves were taking 3 of 4 from this Montreal EXPOS club. So you can chip away, and then you get a couple of bad starts and a hot team like the Florida Marlins, and it's right back to where you started.
0-2 pitch to Callaway coming, 1 down in the 7th inning. On the outside corner, down goes Ron Callaway. Struck out looking for a 2nd straight time. And there are now 2 down in the 7th. Yanks Boston wrapping up that series. Went this weekend in the Bronx. And a 2-1 Yankee win there. Here the American League starters. Your former first baseman in Toronto, Carlos Delgado, won an incredible season. Soriano lost his first start. A-Rod another appearance. Same for Ichiro. Matsui gets voted in, which is interesting as an outfield starter. Ramirez with the Sox, and Jorge Posada, the fine catcher of the Yanks.
Well, all of a sudden, Hideki Matsui is hitting .310 with 9 homers and 64 RBIs. I mean, those are legitimate all-star numbers to be sure.
Look out! Brian Snyder sent dancing.
Well, he kind of got his foot stuck in the dirt. Watch how awkwardly he bails out here as that ball's right under his chin and he stumbles to the ground. You try to hang in there and then lose your balance.
And now he's got to face Cormier. Shot right back to the mound. Real fields it nicely. And the Expos and Snyder are done in the 7th. Still, they've got a big lead on ESPN's Monday Night Baseball. Start of the season has been very successful for Expos starter Livan Hernandez. He's a 6-1 lead, visiting 8th now, and Jimmy Rollins, the only man to touch him up or any offensive output for the Phillies in terms of runs. 5th homer of the year, a solo shot to left, way back in the 1st. It was a much different game back then, Buck.
Well, it looked like the Phillies were going to jump out early, but Livan Hernandez made the appropriate adjustments, and that's been the only blemish on his outing tonight. Jimmy Rollins with an opposite field home run.
Hernandez surrendered 2 homers in his last start. The 11-4 win over the Mets. Went 8 innings in that game. 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 were earned. Struck out 8 on 122 pitches. Some long faces in the Phillies dugout tonight. Beginning a 3-game series. Cordero will take it himself. 1 down. Trend for the Phillies this year, when they really explode, they're unbeatable. However, more often than not, more baseball-like stats struggle a bit. That can't be a great number if you're Larry Bowa, huh?
No, because they haven't been able to manufacture runs. We saw it earlier in this game tonight in the 4th inning when they got a leadoff double from Bobby Abreu and then 3 straight outs, and Abreu dies at 3rd. They couldn't advance him from 2nd to 3rd with nobody out, and he would eventually stand and watch 3 of his teammates make unproductive outs. That would have doubled their lead to 2-0, and maybe it changes the complexion of the game, but they're not a good ball club at manufacturing runs.
Probably will have to change in the season's second half. The Tomei shift is on. You can see Orlando Cabrera at the bottom of your screen, left-hand side, behind basically second base.
Well,
stop shifted over.
July 31st is the trade deadline, and you have to think that all of these teams that are in contention are trying to evaluate their own ball clubs to see what they might need and what might help them down the stretch. There's been some rumors in Philadelphia that they were interested in Kenny Lofton as a leadoff hitter. He would certainly give them that dimension of speed that they don't have, although he's not the road runner that he once was in Cleveland. He's still very effective in the leadoff spot. Did a great job for San Francisco a year ago.
We'll see what Ed Wade, the GM of the Phils, has in mind. Tomei takes strike 3 call. 2 down in the 8th on the inside corner. The second time he's gone down looking in this game tonight.
Livan Hernandez has really had his control, and that's a 2-seam fastball to the inside. Tomei wasn't sure it got the inside corner.
Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, don't forget, ESPN's hit reality series, Beg, Borrow, and Deal returns for Season 2. 8 contestants split into 2 teams, meet each other for the first time down in Miami Beach. Boy, it's a lot of fun down there. Always the first team to reach Mount Rushmore in South Dakota with proof of 10 successfully completed tasks will be crowned the winner. It all comes your way tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Beg, Borrow, and Deal. Now it's Abreu 2 down. 8th inning for Philly, running out of chances here tonight. Buck, as a player and manager this time of the year now, last week before the All-Star break, these teams both played yesterday, so no Monday off. How tiring is it? Are you dragging your feet trying to get to that break?
Well, you can't look ahead to the break. You've got some big games to play, and Frank Robinson knows that they have to stay focused or they could slip right out of contention. And the same goes for the Phillies. You come off a good stretch where they won 7 in a row, and then you lose 4 out of 5, on the verge of losing 5 out of 6. And you can't look ahead to the break. You've got to play them all out and try to win as many as you can.
Lieberthal on deck. 1-2 pitch from Hernandez to Abreu, inside and low.
But you're right, Dave. You have to, as a player, try to maintain your focus and not look too far ahead. And as a manager, make sure that you don't allow anybody's concentration to drift.
Hernandez has been focused. Very little drifting of his conversation tonight. Down goes Abreu, pulled the string of the breaking ball. And Abreu struck out. 2 Ks in the inning for Livan Hernandez. He is en route to a complete game. He hopes victory. That curveball's been effective. He's got a 5-run lead tonight.
Watch the WNBA All-Star Game, Saturday, July 12th on ABC.
Olympic Stadium is far from filled to capacity tonight, but still a lot of noise from the fans who are here in Quebec. Little standing O for the pitcher, Livan Hernandez. Grounder in the hole, Rollins makes the easy throw. Livan, 9 strikeouts tonight. Bucky's been on his game from the start.
All night long, and he started off with a fastball to Polanco. Then he gets the curveball over to Abreu. Strikes him out. Barrel chases the curveball. Tomei looks at a curveball. Curveball's been effective for him all night long. Burrell again. Tomei takes an inside fastball. Another breaking ball to Abreu. Livan Hernandez has had command of both sides of the plate. He's been able to get his curveball over at will. Season high 9 strikeouts. He scattered 7 hits over 8 innings and allowed just the Jimmy Rollins solo home run.
113 pitches thrown tonight for Hernandez, who will take his time, get a breather after hitting here in the home 8th. 6 of the 9 strikeouts have been in the swinging variety and 3 looking. An outstanding night. Macias will surely stretch this AB along with Edward Guzman to give their star for tonight. The right-hander Hernandez some time to catch his breath. All smiles at the Expos dugout tonight for good reason. 0-2 to Macias. Slap foul.
Jose Mesa, a closer for the Phillies, has 18 saves. He has a 3-5 1-loss record. He last pitched on Friday against the Florida Marlins. He picked up a loss in that game, went 2 innings, gave up 2 hits, walked a couple of batters, and that 9th inning loss.
Macias slaps this opposite way. He'll think 2. It goes all the way to the wall. Leday can't come up with it. Macias en route to third base, slides in safely. He is at third with 1 down in the 8th. Serious wheels. Jose Macias, once he saw the ball get between Leday and Marlon Byrd out in left center.
Funny swing from Macias. He kind of chops at the ball, but strokes it into the gap in left center. Marlon Byrd kind of grabs for it at the backhand, but it's underneath his glove, and Ricky Leday has to chase it down. Good pitch from Mesa. Great swing from Macias, and here he goes. Around second, sees the ball up against the warning track and slides into third base ahead of the relay.
Guzman is next. With the infield in, the Phillies are down by 5. It kind of reminds me of watching Rafael Furcal, the Braves. The same sort of body type. Slap hitter, likes to go the opposite way, and can he ever run?
Lots of power in that stride, that's for sure.
Stocky stride. Guys have a tremendous amount of drive in the lower body. Guzman, Mesa off the glove, and you'll score that one 6-3 as Rollins picks up his pitcher. And on the play, Macias remains at third base. Star of the night, in addition to Hernandez on the mound with a bat, has been Orlando Cabrera. An infield single as he jump-started that big 5-run fourth, then a long home run to left in the 6th. Also walked a 3-2 pitch in the first.
He broke up the no-hitter and began the end of the night for Brandon Duckworth. A bouncing ball off the plate in the 4th inning. And then in the 6th inning, the other part of his game, the power aspect. He jumps on that Real Cormier fastball. His 13th homer of the season. That made it 6-1.
That's where we stand. Mason delivers to Cabrera. Waves that pitch off the outside corner. And the count at 0-2 quickly to Orlando. 4 for 17 in the Atlanta series with a couple doubles and a homer, 2 RBIs in that 4-game set with the Braves. Tonight is 29th multi-hit game. That leads the Expo team. Plenty of offense just in the 4th inning for Hernandez. And he helped out by being hit by a pitch. Expos played at another after Macias had that fielder's choice RBI. 1-2 delivery. Mesa to Cabrera. Foul back. You're nearing 10 o'clock in the East. That means Baseball Tonight's coming your way. Talk about that 2-1 pitching duel in the Bronx, wrapping up the Yanks-Red Sox series. And talk about the injury the Cubs have sustained. Web gems as well. Very serious setback for Dusty Baker and the Cubs.
Great.
They rebound from that.
Pitching duel in New York. Mike Mussina, Pedro Martinez. 2-1 ball game. Yankees winning.
1-2 pitch. Lifted foul, right field line and out of play. And in that game, Soriano and Jeter were hit, right?
They sure were. Pedro Martinez hit them both in the hand. They had to leave the game, and X-rays were negative. Joe Torre had to put together a makeshift infield. Ended up with Todd Zeal at third, Enrique Wilson at short, and Robin Ventura at second.
I don't envy you managers. Can you imagine seeing 2 superstars like that get hit in the same game?
Gives you gray hair.
Oh my God. Cabrera down the left field line. His great evening continues. Macias will score as Orlando Cabrera keeps it going. Rips the double into the left field corner. Another run in for Livan Hernandez. And Montreal opens up a 6-run lead. It's 7-1 tonight for the Big O.
Cabrera making the bid for that 32nd spot on the All-Star team. Gets a hanging breaking ball inside part of the plate. You can see how it stays to the inner half of the plate, and Cabrera turns on it. Drives it past the diving David Bell at third base. Chases home Jose Macias, who had tripled And Cabrera, with his third hit, second RBI of the night, has had a big night against the Phillies.
Infield single in the fourth. He homered in the sixth, and now in the home eighth, a double down the left field line. 3 for 4 with a walk. The lone blemish, a pop out in the fourth. That's the second time he hit in that inning. Vidro, left field line base hit. Cabrera will waltz home with the 8th run of the game from Montreal. Back-to-back doubles by that strong middle infield of Cabrera and Vidro. And the Expos lead 8-1 tonight over the Phils. Yuppie loves it.
So many times you get your closer inning of work and he ends up getting hammered. Jose Mesa came in because he hadn't pitched since Friday. Back-to-back doubles by Cabrera and Vidro. They did 2 more runs, and they are certainly on the Phillies here tonight. The Phillies have really pitched tough against Montreal this year before tonight.
Another double for him. Wilkerson. Tortome flips to Mesa in time. However, more damage done by the Expos bats. Hernandez, a big lead, goes for the complete game when we return to Montreal.
And this is why home field advantage in the World Series means everything.
Now, for the first time ever, the league that wins the All-Star game will earn home field advantage in the World Series. The stakes are raised. The intensity is back. This time, it counts.
Livan Hernandez on the verge of a complete game victory tonight. Coming to you from Olympic Stadium. Dave Ryan, Buck Martinez, our entire ESPN Monday Night Baseball crew. First game of 3 between the Phils and Expos. Huge game from Cabrera at the plate. Hernandez, the right-hander on the mound, looks for his 8th win of the year. Baseball tonight. Guys in the studio coming up with all today's stories. Lifted deep left field. Tracking it down. Out there is Wilkerson, who's replaced Macias in left for the first out. Lieberthal flies out to him, leading off the Phillies' 9th inning.
Brad Wilkerson moves over to his more natural left field position. Andy Chavez comes in to play center field. He is the regular center fielder with great speed and defense, playing behind Livan Hernandez.
Trying for 25 complete games in his career tonight. He is getting close. Tomas Perez will hit here. Remember that Burrow left the game in that double switch involving Ricky Leday and Cormier at the time. Pitch hit appearance for Perez. Inside and low. Hernandez to start last year. Remember, San Francisco had trimmed down, lost a lot of weight, was throwing in the low 90s, more of a power pitcher. Kind of against what he's been in his career, which is generally speaking more finesse. But as the year went on, he really lost a lot of velocity. He got hit pretty hard. Gave up the 3rd most hits in the league last year as a Giant. Opposing hitters hit 283 against Livan. Didn't finish the way he wanted to, although 200+ innings again for the Giants. Had a very good season in terms of the duration. Big off-season deal, though. And spring training brings him to Montreal. Omar Minaya, the GM. And Frank Robinson made a tremendous trade there, no doubt. Down goes Perez. 10th strikeouts in the game for Hernandez. And he is 1 out away from a complete game victory tonight. Tomorrow afternoon in the Major League Baseball season continuing. The Giants and Cards wrap up their quick 2-game series. From Pac Bell on ESPN's Day Game. Bonds and Pujols, Jim Edmonds head-to-head. Cardinals and Giants, ESPN Day Game 3:30 Eastern time. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Fans who are here at Montreal tonight are on their feet as Bell represents the last chance for the Phils. Pitch to him. David Bell's grounded out 3 times. Twice to shortstop Cabrera, once to Edwards Guzman at third. He is 0 for 3. 2-0 pitch to him. Right back to Livan Hernandez, and fittingly, the right-hander will take care of himself. What an outing tonight, Buck, for Livan Hernandez.
He was outstanding from the first inning on, and he racked up 11 strikeouts, or 10 strikeouts, one shy of his career high. He improves to 8-6, and Orlando Cabrera supported the offense.
Cardinals-Giants tomorrow, and baseball tonight is coming up next here on ESPN. Now for Buck Martinez and the entire crew, it's Dave Ryan saying so long. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Livan Hernandez's 8th win of the year. It's an 8-1 final. Baseball tonight is next.